I hope you all have been enjoying this short essay series of mine. Also, hey, welcome back to the channel. It's winter. I have so many essays that I wrote in undergrad that have just been living in folders on my laptop, but also physically. And I've decided that maybe I should share them. So, welcome to the essay series. And I'm doing this essay series, one, because it is helping me have something to upload while I work on these other series of mine, because I've been doing a lot of research and I want to dedicate a bit more time to these topics. Instead of making them standalone videos, I have come to the understanding that most of what I'm getting ready to produce deserve to be series instead of just one-offs. So welcome to the essay series. Apologies for not doing a introduction in my first video of this series, and I hope you all enjoy it. Also, please, again, I wrote a lot of this in undergrad, and most of this was written in my first and second year of undergrad. Some of my senior works will be in here too, in my larger theses, but for the most part, we're reading we're reading things I wrote when I was 18 and 19 years old. So just remember that. Today we're going to talk about race, space, and justice. Justice is a radicalized word. Thaddeus Davis' essays, Southscapes, posits the way in which racism has defined both physical and temporal relationships to space and how this directly correlates the notions of justice. These spaces were carved out by racism, particularly in the American South, where Jim Crow laws quite literally created and maintained the borders of white and black interaction. Segregation extended not only to physical places such as bathrooms and water fountains, but also insidiously in the demarcation of what it is considered the American canon and what is considered an othered category. I haven't taught Black history in 30 years. John Hope Franklin is quoted in Davis. I teach history of the South. This accurate history is necessary for justice, as is the raising of Black voices commenting on this history. Anthony Groom's The Vein Conversation and Monroe Gwynn's Promise highlight the ways these racially demarcated spaces directly correlate to issues of justice. In the vein of Davis, justice can be defined as the ways in which the truth is told and listened to, however shifting that truth may be. It requires an examination and reclamation of the South as a home and what that means for Black people navigating through it. Anthony Groom's The Vein Conversation is based on the actual lynching of two Black couples in 1946 in Walton County, Georgia. The novel both physically travels through time and space, but also goes into the spaces of that character's interiority. What the character allows into their private selves are representative of whether they abide by or ignore the physical borders set before them. The four Black people murdered exemplify the temporal and physical borders being enforced by whiteness. The pregnant woman and her partner were murdered for not allowing Venable, a land-owning white man, to lay physical claim to her body. Bertrand and his wife were murdered for his not minding temporal borders of Black and white relations. Grooms and Davis argue it is whiteness that sets and resets these boundaries for their own benefit. Bertrand is all too aware of these borders, yet his own physical landscape is one of freedom. That is not to suggest a level of naivete on his part. He is all too aware that exercising his personal boundaries against the backdrop of whiteness is lethal. History time and time again has proven it. In fact, the only character that seems disconnected from the space they all occupy is Lonnie. Lonnie has no frame of reference given or found, and therefore has no sense of justice. By the novel's end, arguably, there is no justice to be had. It is certainly not found in the murders of those that committed the crime. That is not justice. See, the murder of Jax does nothing for the people slain and reveals nothing about racist systems that allowed and even encouraged the lynching to occur. Justice, in the vein conversation, seems to be concerned with an acknowledgement. a knowing, a story never told. In this way, the only justice reaped from it is a novel. A Black examination of historical Southern towns and what it does to its people, both Black and white, formatted in a way that can be read and discussed. Another such work is Monroe Gwen's Promise. The tornado acts as an obliteration of physical and social borders, with landmarks rendered unrecognizable and social order suspended. This novel also echoes what is discussed in Tara Hunter's To Joy My Freedom, the ways in which Black women carved out places for autonomy and movement within the confines of working for white people. Dovey navigates both space and labor on her own terms, choosing the occupation of the washerwoman for the flexibility and ability to work away from employers, which allowed her and many others to carve out autonomous lives for themselves. Yet some autonomy does not equal complete freedom. Dovey's granddaughter is still raped by the son of her employer, producing Baby Promise. As Darlene Clark reminds us in Rape and the Inner Lives of Black Women in the Middle West, that often Black women were sexual hostages and domestic violence victims of their employers. Rape perpetuated against Black women has everything to do with the notions of physical and historical space. In discussing justice in the novel, one has to look at Baby Promise, a mixed-race child conceived by rape. One has to wonder precisely what his namesake suggests. It certainly does not suggest a mutual coming together of the races. Gwen uses this character, Joe, and her calling Dovey a Nigger at the first sign of conflict to show just as much. If anything, justice is had when Baby Promise is returned to his true family. It is not found in Dovey's acknowledging Joe's relation to the child. Due to her whiteness, Joe never needed her acknowledgement to have a space with this child. Joe quite literally transforms this Black baby into her white younger brother, and no one questions her, which is the novel's most damning indictment of whiteness. Overall, all 5 authors are detailing the ways in which justice for Black people is often never found in the courthouse, the jail cell, or the grave. It is found in being a witness. It is found in telling the truth, despite its fluctuations. I'm not sure if I ever have properly shared this, but I attended Spelman College for undergrad, and it was absolutely the best decision I have ever made for myself in my adult life. That was my first big decision to make as an adult. I was 18. Where do I want to go to college? I decided on Spelman College. And while at Spelman College, I was given the amazing opportunity to be taught by many Black women, men, and just Black people who have truly been pioneers of many a movement. And this essay was written for Professor Height, Dr. Height, and we were reading many essays. We were also reading a couple of novels. I can't remember the name of the course, and of course it's not on my... This is actually a draft of the full essay. I didn't want to read to you all the full essay, but just that's a lot, and I might give it to you all later. But I don't know. I've been sitting down with these works. I've been rereading them. I've taken some of them and decided I want to even expand upon my thoughts even more, just with being older and having revisited some of these works. And I just felt that coming to YouTube and sharing them here would be a really nice medium to also just help me kind of see where my mind was at when I was initially reading these essays and these novels and watching these films in school, and it's interesting to see how you think and how you process when you're 18 and 19 versus how you process when you're 24, approaching 25. I am approaching 25 years thriving, right? I'm approaching 25 years thriving. And I don't know. I've been really reflective. I've been really wanting to sit down and revisit things I've written, revisit things I've produced. I just want to go back and see who I was and how that aligns or doesn't align with who I am now. So I really do hope you guys are truly enjoying the essay series. I have been enjoying recording the essays and revisiting my work, revisiting my mind. You know, how often are we revisiting our minds? You know, that's why they say it's so important to journal and keep diaries and keep records, because it's interesting to see like who you were and what you were writing and what you were thinking about and how you process information and how you work through emotions and feelings. And that's what these essays are doing for me, revisiting these essays, because I am taken back instantly to spaces I was in physically and mentally. And it's exciting. It's exciting. I'm happy to be actually returning back to these spaces and noting the growth. Some of my writing is just like, oof, my God, I would never write that sentence like that today. Not that it's bad. It's just I would not write that sentence like that today. So yeah. I hope you guys are enjoying it. There's a whole lot more coming for you all. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here and sharing space with me physically, emotionally, and introspectively. I appreciate it.